Ooh. What's good, people? What's good? It's your boy, Uncle Fred, back in the house again. Man, didn't have the gumption to make a video last night. Frankly, didn't think they deserved a video. Didn't deserve me giving up my time to go do that for what foolishness they put on display last night. So I waited to the day, and luckily I got the day off today, so I got a chance to say, shout out to Christopher Columbus, who sailed the ocean blue in 1492 and discovered what exactly? Place where indigenous folks are already at. Whatever. So that's why I'm here today at this particular, because I'm supposed to be at work doing what I do, but I thought I would go ahead and get off the schneid and let folks know what I thought about that, what show that we saw yesterday afternoon. So we're going to talk about that, talk about what I thought, what I saw, what it means going forward. And really, I feel like this stuff was kind of set up from the beginning to be this way. And we was kind of teetering on this to go this way because certain other things wasn't done, and it's sort of like it kind of was going to be this way. So we're going to talk about that, plus a whole lot more. Y'all sit back, man. I promise you ain't going to be here long today. We'll talk at y'all in just a moment.
Two times on the beat, bitch.
Again, what's going on, people? It's your boy, Uncle Fred, back in the house. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, share, comment, all those things, all that stuff gets up the algorithms, because we trying to grow this thing, but dadgummit, they ain't trying to grow it like this. Man, you want to come on here and talk after a win, like last Sunday and Monday. Them was good videos. You really like doing them, but then you back it up with this. Hence, what my title is: 2 steps forward and 3, maybe 4 steps back. So first of all, this really was a kind of a half, weekend for me. I rolled with the Crimson Tide. They kind of had a very lackluster win Saturday against South Carolina, who they were supposed to win by like 20 and eked out like a 2-point win or something like that. If they had lost back-to-back games to unranked people, they ain't going to no championship round or whatever they're trying to do. So that was off. And then of course my hometown university here, Bulldogs, won their homecoming, so that was one good thing. And then I'm saying, man, maybe the Cowboys can kind of make me have a good whole weekend, and not so much. Not so much. How about not even close? As the few steps back, the Cowboys get embarrassed at home again. This is starting to become a almost like happenstance. It's like the 4th time. And I know, according to a Boss Cowboy and the OC, I think I will give them credit for this theme. 1 time is an accident, twice is a fluke, 3 times, it's a pattern, it's a habit. It's, this thing's starting to become habitual at this point. Going home and getting the thing over with for the first quarter's over with. We'll just go home. We can, if it was a one of them games that my son used to play in T-ball, the thing, you go up by 10 runs, man, that's all right, kid. Let's roll it on home. We going home. So we getting them kind of games now, where the game is over with before The first quarter is even over. So that's becoming sort of the standard now, which is, that's not the standard you like to bring forth, man. How about that ass kick? Yeah, man. Yeah. That's exactly what that was. And we not fixing to make that. Yeah, happy birthday, Jerry. I got that in my thumbnail. Yeah, happy birthday, Jerry. Yeah, I can't think of a better way to have given him a present other than that, because it was his own doing. And I know we can always point to the players, and certainly players did not play well. Dak Prescott did not play well. Offensive line did not play well. Running backs, which I don't expect the running backs to do well anyway, because it's really the 32nd ranked running back room in the league. So what happened last week kind of was an anomaly, And we're going to talk about that too here in just a second. Defensive line got pushed around. Linebackers, Trayvon Diggs, come on, dude. Can you make a tackle on a running? Can you make a tackle? Can you not make business decisions all the time? Because we're gonna get into that in a little bit too. So, really, the Cowboys. Look, man, I'm gonna say this like this: Cowboys. This is ridiculous, right? It's starting to become ridiculous. All right, getting beat at home soundly again. This makes 3.5. I kind of give the one in Baltimore a half goal because they made that game close. And had we got a stop, if Trayvon Diggs makes that stop on Zay Flowers on that sideline pass on 3rd and 6, we could have either tied that game or go to overtime, or we could have easily won that game because there was still 2 minutes left. We could have won that game. So I'm not going to make that one an ass kicking. But it was 21-6 at halftime. So, and so the 8-6, of course, we made our little whatever you want to call it, comeback, whatever. But the other games, shoot, what was it? 48-32 at Green Bay, 44-19 New Orleans, and in this game, 47-9. Are you kidding me? First of all, let's look at this. Let's look at it. I'm not going to get into a whole lot of the things here. I'm just going to be like a sounding board for me today. But first of all, you had to know. I mean, let's look at the tea leaves. Okay. First of all, you can't really bank or really consider the injury thing because injuries kind of happen. Everybody get injuries. Like the Detroit Lions will have to come to grips with Aiden Hutchinson going down yesterday, and that sucks for them. And I hate it for that young kid because that kid is probably the best pass rusher in the NFL. And he showed it yesterday. Man, he basically put Terrence Steele on skates. He was getting by him at will. Matter of fact, I believe the play he got hurt on, Terrence Steele just pushed him and really didn't block him. And he went into him and tackled him. And I think the way he tackled Dak, I think he may have bent his leg and got his fibula broken. I think that's what the prognosis was, the broken fibula. Prayers up to that guy and everything, because injuries are kind of one of the things that happen in this league. But understanding from my perspective, we didn't have certain guys, didn't have Micah. Hopefully we'll have him back against the 49ers. Don't know if it'll help. We didn't have D-Law. He's on the DL. He'll be back probably sometime mid-November, probably around Thanksgiving or the game before Thanksgiving or somewhere, something like that. Maybe. And then, of course, one I thought was big, and I thought people was talking about, oh, man, we own Detroit. And I'm like, dude, I wouldn't be saying that, man, because we found out Thursday or Friday that Eric Kendricks wouldn't go play because I think he's got a shoulder and a hip, or a shoulder and a hamstring or something like that. He got 2 different things and didn't practice Thursday or Friday, Wednesday, Thursday or Friday, whatever. So that's the quarterback of your defense. So he don't play. Then, of course, Bland, he said they thought played and practiced all week, but then Saturday was a late scratch. So, Caden Carson was there, but he didn't really play. So you're going out there with Amani Ariari, I think that's his name. And you're going up against, and I looked at our schedule. they probably got the most complete offense of any of the teams we're playing. I know we're playing the Texans. I don't think the Texans have the running back duo that they've got. I think their quarterback might be a little better. I think the defense might be great, but I think overall, in terms of the wide receivers they have, the offensive line they have, I think the Detroit Lions may have the best offensive line in football with Radnow and Penei Sewell. I think they got the best offensive line in football, and I think they got a good set of receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams, who smoked Trayvon Diggs, man. I was like, come on, dude. You supposed to be that dude because he talk a lot of stuff, man. And see, I'm okay with you talking stuff because I'm from the Muhammad Ali lineage of lineage. I ain't related to him, but I grew up with that, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Every fight he had a rhyme or something he was gonna do something that I'm gonna knock him out in 3. He would talk that mad junk, but then when the fight came, he backed that stuff up. Trayvon Diggs be talking a lot of stuff in these press conferences, like, oh yeah, hey, what do you think about such and such? You gonna ask me something like that? Like, dude, you not like that where you think you in a castle up on a pedestal and can't nobody get to you. You got to, I think Jamison Williams had 3 catches, 76 yards and a touchdown, and you got smoked on that little bunch route. They circled those 2 receivers in, and he went down the middle, and you just got, look, man, it's and all these losses, it's the same ingredients. First of all, and understanding that we knew we had a lot of guys on defense that weren't playing, and then you replacing them guys with basically practice squad players, right? Practice squad players. Amani Ariarie, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I hate to mispronounce that again. He had played some good football. He played good last week, but let's face this. The offense of the Detroit Lions present ain't like the Steelers offense, okay? Because they got more than one George Pickens. They got a couple of George Pickens, and they got backup receivers. Tim Patrick, they picked up this one, got us on a 42-yard get on Ariarie, okay? Tough contested catch. He just went up and got that thing. That's something I wish CeeDee Lamb would do. The balls at that, man, just go get that thing. I'm digressing. Practice squad player, Ariarie, good as he's played. He's a practice squad player. KJ Henry, practice squad player. Okay. What's the kid we got from DC? Carlos Watkins used to play for us. Practice squad player. Okay. Carl Lawson, practice squad player. These are all practice squad players, all right, that you're filling in the roles of starting caliber players with, and you're going up against probably the most complete offense that we'll play this season. When you look at the offense in terms of the receivers, the tight end, I ain't even talking about Sam Laporta, then how good the offensive line, and they got 2 backs that almost rushed for 1,000 yards last year. One back rushed for 81, rushed for 67, both over 5 yards a carry. Okay? And you going up against that with practice squad players, and then, they probably got the best or one of the best. I still think Andy Reid's the best play caller in the NFL, but they're going up against one of the best play callers in Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson gonna be somebody's head coach. And if you break off Mike McCarthy, I'll bust a call to the Detroit Lions and get that guy. But of course, we wouldn't do nothing like that because that would make too much sense to get somebody making modern day, exciting offensive, plays and designs and stuff like that, designed to get guys open, right? We wouldn't hire nobody like that. We're gonna hire a retread or a has-been. That's what we would do. But I digress. But you're going up against that with practice squad players, with Ben Johnson, and one of the most creative play callers in the NFL, probably the most what you would call unorthodox coach in the NFL, and Dan Campbell, who will go for 4th down on his own 5 if you gave him an opportunity. That's unorthodox. I mean, you got to prepare for the unpreparable, right? And they had a week off to prepare. What the heck did you think was gonna happen? That's why I didn't get no video this week about the thoughts about what I thought was gonna happen. Like I did last week. I said, hey man, why even play the game? This week also was why even play the game, but I didn't see no way we could win it, right? So you had all that going, and we're going with practice squad players, and then you give them a week off to prepare, and then they got a big boulder-sized chip on their shoulder because they believe we got away with one last year with that Dan Skipper bull crap that they tried to pull a fast one and tried to pull a switchy on them. And it just like Mark Holmes said, if we was it Mark Holmes? It's one of the guys. If we saw the formation, if we'd have known he was the eligible one, because they got to announce it, we would have covered him. But you tried to pull a fast one, and you got, right? The real travesty in that game was they called, what's the kid's name? The tight end for that clipping call that really wasn't on him. It was on one of the Detroit Lions players. That was the travesty of that game, and that really, it wouldn't even came down to that, but I'm digressing. But the Detroit Lions got this boulder-sized chip on their shoulder, like they can't wait to get back to us because of that game. What they felt like we cost them that game. We got robbed in that game. So you got all of that stuff built up in this game. And we kind of went tiptoeing into the game. And so you would have thought we would have met that intensity, like my man Rome said. He said, "Oh no, we ain't scared of them. We beat Detroit all the time. Detroit ain't beat us since 2013, back in the Romo days, right?" And I think I want to say it was Matt Stafford maybe that scored on a little 1 yard run. I thought that won that. Whatever. But yeah, they hadn't won since. So we should have had that thing like, yeah, we own y'all, and going with that confident thing that, yeah, we're even though I don't think we're better than you, we got this mental edge over you because you've lost like 6 in a row to us. Oh no, we went in there like bunny rabbits, and these guys was on the firing range with rifles, what they see set on us. We went in there unsuspected, and we got. And they just overwhelmed us from the gap. Oh, yeah, we scored on the first drive. Got that, made some throws, a little bounce. Lucky pass, he's throwing to the tight end, ended up in Rico Dowdle's hand, got down the sideline. And I thought, if we score, get a touchdown first, it might be. But no, we can't seem to score in the red zone. And we end up kicking a field goal to 3-0. I'm like, hey, maybe we get a stop. No, because David Montgomery drags half of the daggum Dallas defense into the end zone. Donovan Wilson, freaking Malik Hooker, he drug both safeties into the end zone. Drug them both in there, right? So you should have thought. So I'm confused when after the game they talking to Jerry. Oh, yeah, by the way, happy birthday, Jerry. You got what you deserve. And I'm going to tell why in just a minute. You would have thought that we would have came in there with the necessary preparation, the necessary energy to meet them, because understanding they are coming in here for blood. We got to match that if we expect to win. But of course, we did not do any of that. Okay. And that thing ended up being 7-3 and then never looked back. Next thing you know, it's 10-3. And we got a chance to tie the thing up. Well, actually, we had a chance to go ahead when it was 7-3. We drove that, got inside the 10-yard line, whatever, and Dak throws another end zone pick. Dak. I mean, look, Dak, I love you, and I usually go to bat for you, but dude, you can't keep throwing interceptions and turning the ball over in the red zone. I gives it about nothing else. Nothing else. We get a field goal that's 10-6 or 7-6 or whatever the case might be. You can't throw the ball to Brian Branch, who was covered another guy and just lollipopped the thing in the end zone. What are we doing? Because the thing that happened last week, which I believe he thought he had a free play on that one, but you don't leave that to chance. You're in the red zone. Red zone opportunities, and we scuffle in the red zone. So we got to take red zone opportunities like they mean something. And we turned it over, and then it was it's still 7-3. Then it was 14-3. Then 13-3, then it was 20-3, then 27-3, and then right before halftime, Kevontae Turpin got this big run, and I'm like, ooh, we might get a touchdown. No, Aiden Hutchinson gets a sack, and I'm wondering if that was the sack that he got hurt on. If I'm not mistaken, that's when that was. And of course, we ended up kicking a field goal to make it 27-6. And I'm like, whoa, we playing for a field goal and we're down 27-3, and they get the ball to start the second half. What happened? But I'm not going to go into all that. But all the games look the same. All right. And all these losses where we get is kicked. The stagnant offense. Okay. What do I mean by stagnant? We saw him last week against the Steelers, and I made mention of it on the video. I was like, wow, who got a hold of Mike McCarthy? Did the aliens come down and suck him up and replace him with a doppelganger that looked just like him, that called the game like it was 2024 instead of 2012? Because he was running motion. I seen Kevontae Turpin running orbit motion. That's where the guy runs down one side of behind the formation, circles back around and comes back around, keeping the defense's eyes moving and whatnot. And then we'll run a play up the middle, and it's open because the guys got their eyes somewhere else. And then you're running a lot of shifted and like misdirection and stuff. I saw so much of that stuff that they said a stat that we ran more motion last week than they ran in the first 4 games combined. So I'm like, and we had success. 445 yards of offense against the number 2 or number 3 defense in the NFL on the road. I'm like, yes, we can build on that. And I talked to my boy at work who's a Cowboy fan, dude name, I'm not going to give his name. I'll say Jay. And he was like, yeah, they're going to go back to the same bull-ish on next game. And I'm like, nah, we done discovered something. And I'm like, what a fool I was. And when I saw the game and I'm seeing Zeke back in the starting lineup, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. Because he went to the front office and went to the head coaches and said, well, they're not getting no snaps. Because he got 3 snaps last week. He got 3 runs last week or 3 touches last week. And Rico Dowdle had like 24 carries and like 90 yards and a touchdown grab, right? And looked to be a legitimate, even on for this team, running back 1, all right? He looked to be that, all right? But he complained. Okay, now it's starting to look like, because see, I was upset myself because, look, if you're going to have Zeke, he do need to have a design role. But okay, but in my opinion, I don't think they should have brought him back. But because when you do that, you're really starting to make decisions that aren't football based. You're making nostalgia decisions, like, you know, he was a guy we really didn't want to let go, but he was making too much. He's making $15 million. We had to let him go. Yada. He's, you know, getting 3 yards of carry. And, you know, so we had to let him go and go to New England, do what he did. And come, but yeah, let's get him back for $1 million. And then he's good in the locker room, all that kind. Fine. He's got a role. What is his role? In my opinion, his role is short yardage, goal line, and pass pro when we want to, you know, keep him a back end to block. And maybe leak him out to get a pass here every now and then, give him a bone because he can make a guy miss every now and then and can run over guys. He does have that kind of thing, right? But when I saw him at the beginning of this game in the lineup and they getting that shotgun run out the A gap for 1 yard or 2 yards and it's 2nd and 8, then it gets the same play again and it's 3rd and 6 and he's trotting his happy tail off the field and we're left with a passing opportunity, and we're behind the sticks. And you know what are we throwing into? A tight window, because all our throws are tight window throws. I think Dak in the next gen stats leads the league in tight window throws. Why is that? Because we can't run the football, and guys are sitting on those stick and what you would call turnaround routes, where you run straight down the field and turn around. Yeah, we run those, right? But last week, you saw crossers. You saw guys finding little soft spots in the zone down the sideline that Turpin did on that little 40-something yard catch. You saw that, but you ain't see none of that this week. You saw those little stick routes. And guys, when they're catching them, guys is hanging all over them. So what you think you're going to get on 3rd and 6? You're going to get a tight window throw. You're going to get a throw, and the safety's behind, and the cornerback's in front of him, and a guy's hand is right on top of the guy's arm as he's catching it. That's what you're going to get, right? So Zeke complained, and now he's getting. So now he got 3 carries last week. He got 9 carries this week because once the game is 27-3, how many times you going to run the football, right? Okay. And the kid that showed so much promise, he got 5 carries after 24 carries last week. And you say it ain't political. And you say politics don't matter in this thing. And you wonder why the team does what it does. Okay. Why things happen the way they happen. Okay. Because there's things on this team that happen that don't have nothing to do with the sport itself. It's just foolishness that goes on. And then it trickles down into the play that the guys play in. Okay. Zeke had no business having that many carries. Okay. Be honest with you, Zeke really should be struggling to get on the 53-man roster every week. But, we love Zeke and understand that, but he shouldn't be getting the most carries. Okay. Because all I saw because he was 8 carries for 17 yards. Shouldn't have been in the game. That kid had showed some heart last week, and you reward him with giving him 8 carries. Now, in the second half, he got some bonus carries, and he had a 12-yard run and like a 6 or 7-yard run. He ended up with 5 carries for 25 yards. He had 2 carries in the first half, though. It's just foolishness, man. It's just foolishness that don't have nothing to do with football. That all of those factors go in. Yeah, the players don't play well, but then you're doing stupid stuff, right? Now, all the games looking like stagnant offense, no imagination, tight window throws, running out of the shotgun, which I hate. If you're going to run the ball, run it out from under center. That way you can, you got a little more creativity with that, right? You got the, at least with that, the team don't know the play action works when you're running out from under center, okay? It don't work well when you're out of shotgun because the quarterback don't run, The Eagles do that because Jalen Hurts runs the football. So it's okay. He's always a threat to run. Dak ain't running nowhere. So you ain't getting no bang. So when he's in shotgun, yeah, he's going to throw it or he's going to run it out of the A-gap. And that's a 1-yard or 2-yard run. That's all it's going to be. No creativity, no imagination or anything in the offense. Stagnant offense, no motion, non-imaginative offense. Okay? That's what we're going to find. All those losses have that same blueprint. Defense. Look, I'm going to give the defense a little bit of a break because, look, they got practice squad dudes playing. It's going to be a lot of try-hard dudes. That's what I call them, try-hard dudes. Dudes low on talent, high on heart and like guts and stuff like that, giving it all they got. Their effort is all the way on F, but their talent level is like on like a quarter of the tank, but they're giving it all they got. You got those guys, but they're going up against Pro Bowlers against them, right? So, yeah, you knew they weren't going to keep them under 28 points, but you hope that the offense could kind of keep pace, kind of use some of the blueprint that you used last week to kind of, okay, if we can score 20, 25, maybe we can put some pressure on them. And no, we run that same stagnant crap they've been running before last week, and that stuff don't work, and it's never worked. It don't work in none of the games. And while we keep going back to that, it's just mind-boggling to me. The defense cannot tackle or cover. Okay, I was watching something that what's the defensive guy? I can't. His name was right there with me. He used to play for the Patriots. He's on ESPN. It's not Donovan. It's not Foxworthy. It's the the big dude used to be a defensive lineman. Anyway, he basically said Cowboys are soft, man. And I know that they had that thing after the New Orleans game, after the Baltimore game, and they said soft. And I know what Overshawn said. I hit all that. He said, man, we grown men over here. We don't know grown men like to be called soft. That's almost akin to say we put dresses on. No man worth his salt's gonna say, call another man soft, not to his face. What somebody would call me soft to my face, that would be, you're not gonna like that outcome. So no, they don't know man like to be called. But then you start seeing it now. You see the line of scrimmage moving back 4 or 5 yards every play when they running the football. defensive lineman start off in the middle of the line. They pushed over 4-5 yards to the side and wide open seat for the running back to run in. Where your manhood at, dude? Where your manhood? Where is that? You ain't moving me today. That somehow. So yeah, they're gonna have to wear that soft label because you saw it on plays. Now in my market, they didn't show that game, so I had to watch it on my streaming services on various devices, on my phone and different things. Running to and from. So I didn't see every play, but the plays I did see, yeah, you saw Mozzie pushed over to the side. You saw Henry pushed over to the side. I'm not even sure Limbell Joseph played. I guess I could look at the box score I got up over here, but I'm kind of cooking right now. I didn't want to stop my what I was talking about. Got it right here. Dallas defense. I know Damone Clark made a couple of plays. Chauncey Golston, I didn't see him making those significant plays. Limbell Joseph made 3 tackles. Mozzie Smith had 3 tackles. And Tyrus Sweet, KJ Henry, all those dudes. Oh, Andrew Booth was in the game. I thought they benched that dude, but of course, when you got injuries in the secondary, that dude's a practice squad player. He shouldn't be playing. That dude's getting beaten. That dude got beaten training. That dude got beaten training camp. He got beat by Semi Fehoko in the preseason game. You can't play. You got beat by that dude. That dude didn't even make the Chargers. Look at Morris Leofile had 2. I don't know how many snaps he got. CJ Good, Nick Vigil. Nick Vigil played hard as he could. He was hurt too. The defense looks the same. No tackling. Guys can run at will. Like I said earlier, David Montgomery dragging dudes into the end zone. He was stopped at the 5, but drug dudes into the end zone. Okay, I'm like, come on, guys, really have some sort of, don't you got families to go home to? You got wife and kids, and they seeing you getting drugged into the end zone. I mean, dude, have some sort of. No, man, that's just. I'm sorry, I'm all for me, dude. Me a man's man, man, look, man, come on, don't get punked. Like I said, Zeke made a surprising start. The Lions were playing with us, fam. That I think what made it 27-3 or 20-3. Like I said, I didn't see the whole game. I was kind of watching it. I watched about maybe 20 plays, but none of them really consecutive more than 3 or 4 at a time. Because I'm moving around and stuff. Like I said, the game wasn't in our market. So when I got home, I had to find the thing where I could watch the game on or whatever. So but anywho, the play where they ran the double flea flicker thing to Laporta for the 50-some-odd yard touchdown, where the play hit the ball changed hands 4 or 5 times and went to the end zone. I'm like, they playing with us. They playing on us on the first play when they lined up Skipper at wide receiver. They was playing with us then, all right? And that should have pissed y'all off. I'm like, oh, heck no. It ain't happening today. We finna knock the out of somebody. But no, not us. We want to be, and I'm wondering, because we saw the little dust up that Jordan Lewis had with Pickens last week. And, everybody was saying, Jordan Lewis is a dog, man. He's because that dude tried to face mask him and pull him down, and Jordan Lewis slung him to the ground and stood over him. And I said, yeah, I'm wondering if they gave him an email and said, no, we're not about that, because we have corporate sponsors that don't allow that kind of those shenanigans. I'm wondering if he got, because I ain't seen none of that there, because supposedly him and Amon-Ra St. Brown got a little back. So I was like, yeah, he from Detroit too. I was ready to see that, and then and I didn't see none of that. I bet you Jordan Lewis got a letter. Just like Chris Richard got a letter when he was berating the linebackers on the sideline because they was playing and our coaches should be able to do that. Get in your stuff. That's what coaches do. That's the era I grew up in. A coach could call you everything and call you all kind of SOBs and, POSs and whatever. Yeah, he can do that. Ain't nobody feelings hurt. You just check your feelings at the door. But he got an email that's available for anybody want to see it. Check Chris Richard email from Cowboys front office. You'll find it. He said those kind of things are not becoming. You know, they got corporate sponsors. We're all about it. And I'm wondering if Jordan Lewis got one of them, because I'm wondering why Mike Zimmer ain't going off on somebody too. He probably got one of them referendums when he got hired. No, we want to be kind and gentle. We want to be nice corporate guys. We the corporate Cowboys. We don't have any of that kind of stuff, right? Because the guys just play like they country clubbish. Hit somebody. Goodness, for God's sake, hit somebody. You know? So I'm asking myself, where was the creativity? Where was the motion, the stuff from last week? The O-line was shaky. Man, Zach Martin played a terrible game. That might have been the worst game I ever seen him play. Look, Dak didn't play well, but goodness, he got pressured. We had 33 snaps. I bet he got pressured on 20 of those snaps. And I think he got sacked like 4 or 5 times and got hurried on 2 or 3 of them other ones, where he didn't, throw it. So, nobody played well. And, of course, they started Tyler Smith at left guard and TJ Bass. TJ Bass wasn't good either. He's kind of a practice squad dude, too. And Guyton didn't play. Maybe we got to put Guyton back in there, but Guyton got to play better, too. None of the offensive line playing well. Okay, Terrence Steele didn't play well. Okay, BB was kind of okay. Offensive line was overall leaky. Okay, it was, but we were set up to fail from the beginning of the year, and I'm gonna tell you why. We're getting ready to close the video because I done covered everything. And I get it. I was pissed off after the Green Bay game too. I wanted them to clean up. Get rid of everybody. Dak, offensive court, get rid of Mike McCarthy, whatever. We can start over. We can be 3-14 this year. We get some draft picks. Whatever. But the Joneses know that they suck at team assemblance, especially when you start talking about cutting it down all the way to the studs or stripping it down to the studs, right? Everybody can't do that, okay? Go down, you start with a new quarterback, with linemen and building the thing up, because we got to build the offensive line up too, because that, like I said, I think part of the thing is, our organization want to act like they're smarter than everybody else, because that's why we try to, because we got more of these undrafted free agents than anybody else. Because he didn't like when they paid Terrence Steele a year or so ago, because he was an undrafted free agent when Lyle Collins was, he was playing some games and missing 4 games because substance abuse and other kind of discipline issues and stuff like that. And then Terrence Steele was such a good soldier, such a good work ethic type individual through his military background, all these sorts of things, that they felt like, what, man, this guy's an undrafted free agent. We drafted, Lyle Collins undrafted too, but he was supposed to have been a first-round pick, but he had that little incident with his girlfriend in Louisiana back in, 2015, 2016, whatever it was. But they paid him early, just like they paid Terrence Steele. But they felt like with Terrence Steele, he undrafted, nobody wanted him, and we sent him to Duke Manyweather. And look, 2022, he was one of the best right tackles in the league. Then he got his ACL, and they paid him because he was going to be a free agent. They paid him, I thought, way too much money. I thought he would have took about probably $10 million a year. They would have probably got away with it. No, they gave him like an $86 million contract, 4 years, $86 million, and he's not been the same dude since he come back from the thing. And at some point, man, you got to figure, sometimes people are undrafted for a reason, it's only so often that these powerhouse schools and college, that walk-ons, are, make star players or doable players other than they just fill in a role. Most times that's what they are, but you're not going to make, superstars out of walk-on players. Because that's what an undrafted free agent is in the pro. You're basically like a walk-on, right? And we want to feel like we're doing something different than everybody else. We're doing it the economical, smarter way. And the other teams are basically doing it a different way. And they're excelling at that. And you can actually look across the field at the team we played yesterday, and they did their thing totally different than how we do our thing. Because I feel like when we're talking about we set up to fail, of course, now after the Green Bay game, yeah, I was pissed off. I wanted to start over, but it's like, okay, we're going to start over a different way. Hence what we was talking about, a soft rebuild. You know, I know Mike Fisher says it was blow it up and rebuild. But Jerry said all in. But what he meant by all in was all in for 24. Basically saying we're not going to take any assets from any year, 2025, 2026, 2027, any of them years, and pull them into 2024 to save 2024. 2024 will have to save itself. Okay. But we're gonna sandbag 2024 by letting 9 players, 10 players walk out the door. Okay, and not replace them with nobody but Eric Kendricks and Zeke. Okay, you set up to fail. Okay, how can you let 9 players leave and then fill it back with rookies and undrafted free agents and one free agent signer who didn't play yesterday and think you're a better team than you were last year? But basically letting 2024, get it how they eat it how they get it, however you want to say that. And that's what they were doing. They're all in on 24. Not going to use no assets from the subsequent years for 24. So what that means is, and I use the fish tank analysis, and I told a friend of mine today, I said, it's like a fish tank analysis. They're sitting up in their skyboxes watching, and it's sort of like you got fish in your fish tank, and you put just enough water between the surface and the bottom of the fish tank for the fish to barely get water, but you can live, right? And they're flopping around in there, scuffling to get more water, and you got water to put into the fish tank, but I don't want to put that water in there because that's next week's water. I don't want to put next week's water in there this week, but the fish are scuffling to breathe. That's okay. They'll be fine. That's what it's, when he's looking down at that and he see these free agents, undrafted free agents, rookies playing, giving it they all, but they just don't have the expertise, just don't have the corporate knowledge, just don't have the ability to play again, and they're just scuffling. And you getting them their heads beat against the wall. And you're just sitting up there looking. It's just like you did that. You filled up a fish tank with barely enough water to survive, and you got water to put in there. You got $24 million, $25 million. You got needs, okay? But you don't want to use that money, okay? We're going to scour practice squads. We're not going to give you no more money from next year to pull into this year. You're going to have to make it on this, okay? Yeah, we played the quarterback. We paid the quarterback and the wide receiver. And we ain't got no money for nobody else. But right across the line from you, you saw a team that paid the quarterback, paid their wide receiver. Amon-Ra St. Brown makes $30 million a year. Jared Goff makes $54 million a year. Okay. Paid Penei Sewell. He makes about $22 million a year. Okay. You paid him. It's a $100 million contract. Okay. Like 5 years and like $20 million, $100 million, $20 million a year, something like that. Ragnar, he's paid. He's like it's $18 million a guy. Okay. And you think they're not going to pay Sam Laporta? I mean, not Sam Laporta, but Jamison Williams when he comes up next year. And just for good measure, right before kickoff yesterday, they gave David Montgomery an extension, like a 2-year, $18, $19 million. They're giving him like $8, $9 million a year for David Montgomery. Meanwhile, we wouldn't pay Derek. We didn't have enough money to pay Derrick Henry. Okay, because we don't want to take money from next year to this year. Now, why that's stupid to me? It would be different if you was just barely making the playoffs. And it's like, man, we just beating our heads against the wall. Last year, dude, you were the number 2 seed in the NFC. You had the first home game of the thing. It wasn't like you just barely made the playoffs. You was the number 2 seed. What made you think you should just tank in the season or just mail in the season or whatever? And you was there at that point, okay? You knew you had some needs. Yeah, we got to get some linebackers. And you could draft one. And you could have got 1 or 2 in free agency, okay? Bobby Wagner was available. He was there, Van Schnickel, the guy they got from want to say the Washington Commanders got them from the Carolina Panthers. You could have got him. You know, you could have got Frankie Louvu. There was linebackers to be had and not for a lot of money. Okay, you knew you need defensive tackles. Okay, you could have got Donnell Henry. He done played for Zimmer before. He might have played for him for less money than he played for the Texans. Okay, you make them. You draft a Devondre Sweat to pair with them, and your defensive line maybe set. I've seen Devondre Sweat for Texas play for the Titans. He's pretty daggum good. You can't move that dude. He's like 360. You need that on our defensive line. You could have done that because the Eagles didn't do as well as we did. They didn't feel like they could mail in the season. Who does that? Who feels like a playoff team that's the number 2 seed feel like, oh, we can take a year off? Who does that? You show me another team that's doing that. We're gonna take a year off. We're gonna blow it up and just start over. Ain't no other playoff team doing that but the Cowboys. Okay, and you set up for failure because they tell the fan and the family, well, they paid Dak, they can't pay nobody else. They paid CD, they can't pay no. Yeah, but everybody else is using the same salary cap, and everybody uses future years' earnings and stuff for the present year. That's how they do it. Okay. That's how they do it. Ain't no way in heck the Detroit Lions can pay all those people, stay under the salary cap, unless they're not moving some money from future into here and they finagling some stuff, moving some stuff from salary to bonus money and then creating stuff. But, you have to eat up money on the end of it. But that's what everybody does because they're trying to be competitive. Okay? You're playing against teams that's doing that to be competitive, and you putting drafted players and undrafted players playing against them. What do you think is going to happen? Okay? We play in the division with the Eagles. We can't stand the Eagles. We hate the Eagles. Okay? If the Cowboys only win 2 games a season, lose the rest of them, we would vote to beat the Eagles twice and lose the rest of them. That's how much we don't like them. Why would you let them do the stuff that they did? They had the same disappointing end that we did. They got beat 32-9. But they wouldn't got them a running back. Okay? Wouldn't sign them another offensive lineman because one of them retired. Signed Mekhi Becton and went and got some defensive line. Went and drafted a couple of cornerbacks. I think it's Quentin Williams from Toledo, and I can't think of the kid's name, from Iowa. But they did that. All right, and they did White, but they cut him. But they made some moves. They retooled. Howie Roseman ain't punting on the season because he would get fired if he did that. Meanwhile, our GM just gets to keep his job. We can win or not, and sit up there like I'm shocked. I'm humbled. I'm shocked. I'm like, really? You shocked? You dismantled the team that won 12 games, took 60% of the personnel from it, replaced it with practice squad and drafted players, and then when you do that, your depth is very thin now, and then you have injuries. Injuries happen. Nobody knew Deron Bland was going to get hurt, but that's why you keep Stephon Gilmore. Last I checked, Stephon Gilmore is making a game-saving interception in the Jets game. That's what caused Robert Saleh to lose his job. Stephon Gilmore had to pick to seal that game. He don't come up with that pick, they win that. Maybe Robert Saleh still coaching the Jets. We know Aaron Rodgers had something to do with that, but I'm digressing. But, what did you thought? Oh, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. No, you ain't shocked. You ain't shocked. You knew that was going to happen. I just don't know how you figure. You 82 years old. Why you feel like you got a year you can take off? That's what I'm thinking. Because no other team because each year takes on a personality of itself. I mean, let's say you take this $25 million, $26 million, and you roll it over into next year. We got about 30 players that's on 1-year deals, right? I know that. Everybody knows it. Coaching staff's on 1-year deal. The angst and the anxiety that causes within the locker room, within the workplace at the Star, I'm sure that's a very tense place to work, and I'm sure that's not good for productivity, right? Everybody tight, everybody like, no, I'm afraid to make a mistake, I'm afraid to whatever, because everybody's on 1-year deals, everybody, the coaching staff, and 35 of the 53 players. So you roll that money, that $25 million into $26 million in the next year. Then you get another fresh 277. I think that's what the salary cap is, 277 if it don't go up again. And you roll that money into that money, you got over $300 million to play with, right? And you want to, and if you just doing this just to pay Micah and you just gonna do the same thing, get just spot players and free agency and whatever like that, and just gonna continue to just draft and develop, then which that's what I think you're gonna do. But if you do that, what if you do that and just say CeeDee Lamb pulls a hamstring and Dak Prescott tears an ACL? So you done all that, and then the foundational pieces that you had, or say Tyler Smith, has some sort of injury, then you starting over. And basically, you got a year this year where the 49ers are down. The Eagles, I think, aren't good as they're supposed to be. Really, you got teams like Minnesota that came out of nowhere. If you'd kind of put a little effort in this year, you might could win this year with some of the teams that were dominating you having a down year, And next year, they may be back at full strength. Christian McCaffrey may be full strength. They may find whatever's going on with his Achilles and his German doctors or whatever. They may find that next year. Who knows, right? And they may be back. But you putting strength against strength now. See, you could have maybe snuck in one this year with them being down. But you chose to punt this year, right? So, no, I'm not surprised. Now, I didn't think they'd get beat 47-9, but I just didn't see no way. I just didn't see a way they was going to win that game unless we got turnovers or unless we got a couple of stops. Now, offense was just humming. And it really hadn't hummed all season. Really hadn't hummed all season. So all I'm going to say, all in was, it's what it is. So where do we go from here? Happy birthday, Jerry. That's all I'm going to say. Couldn't happen to a better person. I'm not a fan of Jerry Jones. I'm not going to say nothing too disparaging. I'm just not a fan. I just don't think he's good at what he does in terms of when it comes to football building. And I know somebody in one of the things said, yeah, but when he builds winners, you want to give him credit. No, I don't. I don't give him credit for it. I mean, if you get players and they just play well, I'm not going to give you credit for just putting them on the team. Sometimes players just play well. You put them in, they play well. That don't mean you hire great coaches. Eventually, if you don't hire great coaches, other teams will out-scheme you and you'll get beat. What kind of happens to us, I'm sorry. I'm not going to give him no credit for what. Well, you got credit for 3 Super Bowl, dude. You had Jimmy Johnson on those staffs. Jimmy Johnson was a talent evaluator. He could look from a mile and tell you who could play and who can't play. Jerry don't have that kind of discernment. He just don't. But happy birthday, Jerry. And like I said, that's a good present he got. He got a great present, great present. He didn't want to sign Derrick Henry. You are correct. But here's something, Crypt Keeper, you didn't know. Derrick Henry would have signed for. But here's the thing: they didn't even call Derrick Henry. That's the sad part. Derrick Henry wanted to play for us, okay? Because it was convenient for him to play. He lives 15 minutes away from the Star, which means he don't have to lease no apartment. He could just drive to the facility and play. So he could probably survive on less money for the Cowboys. He might have took $6 million to play for the Cowboys because he probably got to pay $1 million to stay in Maryland. You know what the cost of living is in Maryland? Go check that stuff out. It costs to live in Maryland, okay? With the tax structure and that sort of stuff and property taxes and all that kind of stuff. And you got no taxes in Texas. And you live right where the thing is. So you could get by on less, right? And meanwhile, you got Trey Lance sitting on $5.5 million and they ain't even gonna play it down this year. And you okay with that? $5.5 million here and $6 million over there that you could have gotten, and he could have been doing what he's doing for us that he's doing for Baltimore. And you want these dudes to be the people that's building your team if you start over. Okay. Who will finish the bottom of the division? I don't know, man. Here's the thing, Crypt Keeper. I still don't think we're gonna finish at the bottom because I just think Dak Prescott will play too well for us to lose enough to be at the bottom. We'll win 7 games. I don't see the Giants winning 7 games. I don't. It's a black Superman. Okay. Yeah. I just like Ali because he talked the junk, but he backed it up. I don't mind you talking the stuff, but you can't talk the stuff and then whimper up into a shell. And I feel like Trayvon Diggs do that. He talks too much, dude. If you ain't like that, keep your mouth shut and it's one thing to be thought of a fool and don't know no better than open your mouth and leave no doubt. He was all in this season. That's the problem. All in means what it means. Like I said, his all in meant he's all in on 2024. He wasn't going to use future teams' assets for 2024. That's what his all in meant. He used a different dictionary from us. Quit. Didn't even show them again. How about them Cowboys? No, I ain't nothing about them. Blue face smiling. I don't blame the coach. I blame the owner. I blame them all, man. I blame them all. I'm not giving Mike McCarthy no breaks here because, look, man, I'm going to tell you just like this. If I'm getting fired at the end of the season, regardless, I'm going out with guns blazing. I ain't playing Zeke if I don't want Zeke to play. No, he ain't playing. I don't give a damn. Fire me if you want to. Because you fire me, you got to pay me. Right? You got to pay me this year if you fire me. That's why they didn't fire him, because they was too cheap to pay him his little piddly $4 million, which is like 28th in the league. Cowboys are cheap. They don't pay anybody. They pay that. So, but yeah, if it was me, and it's like, oh, I'm fired anyway. I'm calling what I want to call. I'm calling as many razzle dazzle, whatever play. I ain't calling nothing close to the vest. I'm getting fired anyway. What I got to lose? He calling all this conservative, like cookie cutter stuff, vanilla stuff, and like, no, what are you calling that for? I don't care I'm calling what I want. If you don't like me, fire me. Shoot, I blame him too. I blame the coach. I blame the players for not playing well enough, not preparing well enough, not having that fire and whatnot. I blame the coaches for not preparing them well enough, and I blame Jerry because Jerry just does what he does. So yeah, I got problems with all of them, man. Nobody escaping Uncle Fred's wrath today. Nobody. Jerry let too many players walk away from last year's team. Then Jerry says Dak will have to play with. Yeah, you got to play with less talent. I mean, like I said, I think it's a miracle that we 3-3 because we feel like we like 1-6, 1-5. It feels like we Cleveland, don't it? Don't it feel like we in Cleveland? A team that's bad. We 500. We 3-3. We number 2 in the division? We 3-3. But it don't feel like we 3-3. It just don't. It don't feel like, That's actually not true, Roland. The salary cap really don't work like that because when you when you give guys extension, it creates salary cap room when you do that. So that's the thing that they sell you. There's money because when they signed those two guys, they created $25 million. But they did it at the end of the season, the preseason, then beginning of the season, so there wouldn't be no players that they could use it on. They playing 3-card Monty here, we playing for the championship with the NFC North. Yeah. Why didn't King Henry call? The count? Oh, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why he would. Look, man, the teams make the first move. You got to go to, because I guarantee you, Saquon Barkley didn't call the Eagles. They called him. But look, man, I liked as Jerry's been there a lot longer than McCarthy. But look here, man. Here's what you got to understand. I'm getting ready to close the video because I've been on too long and I'm starting to become repetitive. And this thing going on an hour. I didn't mean to be on for 30 minutes, but one thing always leads to another. And I always got to get off one of my rants. And so I hate that I have to do that because I want to keep this thing professional. I want to keep everything kind of, but sometimes the thing goes off the rails and I can't stop it. But Jerry's been there longer, but you got to ask yourself, why Jerry hired Mike to start with, because certainly there was better candidates out there than Mike McCarthy back in 2020 when he hired him. But see, I'm gonna say this, and I don't want you guys to think it this. Jerry will only hire coaches that will allow them to put him in fetal position. And I'm gonna leave it kind of just like that. Okay. He will only hire coaches that will allow him to put them in the fetal position, which means I don't want to say it like this, coaches that he can bend over. Okay. That will allow him to emasculate them. Okay. And I mean that, like I said, those are the only coach I think that wouldn't allow him to do it was Bill Parcells and Jimmy Johnson. Okay. Jimmy Johnson stayed there 5 years and got run off. And Bill Parcells, once they hired when he got T.O., he's like, I'm out of here, Jack. First year they got T.O., the tuna said, I'm out. I'm out this mug. You know. I told you, Roland, they didn't deserve a rant yesterday, Roland. They didn't deserve one because in order to put these together, I got to go through research stuff. I got to look up stats. I got to put my thoughts together and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, no, I'm not giving them my energy because they didn't put no energy towards playing. So no, I'm not gonna give them my energy today. I had a long day yesterday. We've been a tough weekend for me. We've had the homecoming stuff. And I had stuff going on at church all day yesterday, and I'm trying to watch my phone. Not during service. I don't do that. But afterwards and stuff, I'm trying to watch, and I'm going since 6 o'clock, and I was tired, man. I'm like, man, I'm too tired to do a video, and I'm not giving them one. So the day I happen to be off is Columbus Day, like I said in the beginning, and I say, you know what, I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna give my rant today about these sorry tail Cowboys, who I love them. But you love them, and you just like, I almost talk to them like I talk like your kids. I ain't got but one, but you love them, but sometimes you want to pop them upside the head too, at the same time. You love them, but you want to, you really want to do that. You know what I'm saying? What are you trying to say, Chris? Do I look like I aged some? You see more gray hair, man? What are you saying, man? What are you saying? Say I look like do I look like I'm aging? I mean, I don't know how to take that, man. I don't know how to take that. I'm not sure how I take that, man. I thought I looked pretty good for a dude knocking on 6 decades. I'm knocking on 6 decades, man. I thought I look pretty daggum good for somebody knocking on 6 decades. Yeah, man. Yeah, but they'll age you because I know they be making you. They be making your anxiety be too high, and I'll be wondering sometimes you make your heart skip a beat or something because you're just frustrated. Like, what they do that for? So yeah, I guess they do age you. But look here, man, Crip, man, good talking to y'all. Roland, good hearing y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for supporting the channel when I come on, and it means a lot to have people, Eric. And all you guys that come on, man, y'all could be listening to other people. And there's other people that probably do this a lot better than me, are more polished than me. And I appreciate you guys coming on and, and chopping it up with me, man. I really appreciate that more than you'll ever know, man. But please, man, like, comment, and subscribe to the Uncle Fred Sports Experience, man. And I guarantee you, man, you won't be. Share it with other folks too, man. If you like the Cowboys and you think, yeah, that Uncle Fred a little different. He got a little different spin than them other dudes. He don't give you the cookie cutter opinions everybody else do. Share it with some other folks, man. But like I said, man, we'll catch you guys on the next video, man. God bless, man. Y'all take care of yourselves, and I look forward to seeing y'all later in the week. Peace out.